Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.
This week's Crypto Trader comes to you from Wynwood in the heart of the Arts District here in Miami. We're covering the Blockchain Shift conference, which is a conference that's designed to bring together government and big corporations. It's a great conference by day and a 24-hour Ibiza-style party by night. This is a show you don't want to miss, so stay tuned. To give you some perspective why a blockchain conference here makes sense, just take a look around. We're a mile north of downtown glitzy skyscrapers and over the bridge from the world-famous South Beach. This was the old warehouse side of town, where the renegade artists took over just a decade ago, just as old as Bitcoin, and set up a de facto decentralized arts hub that had its own parabolic rise. Today, we're at the Manor Wynwood for the Blockchain Shift that's hosting a slew of government types. The mayor himself exploring blockchain use cases in his jurisdiction.
And all of that involves the ability to use the blockchain.
And this guy, Anthony Scaramucci, whose $12 billion Skybridge Capital Fund is diving deep into crypto.
Strategically, we have to be in the space.
My fellow CNBCer John Nigerian is here, mixing it up with an eclectic mix of Miami's crypto entrepreneurs building the Latin American banking base into a buzzworthy blockchain destination.
And I think that's ultimately going to be a bullish thing.
You'll meet the builders, former regulators, lawyers, traders upon traders, devs, and even the artists getting paid in crypto. Let's take a look. Mayor, as someone who's in a position like this and speaking about the blockchain and crypto, you're actually looking at two things. You're looking about using blockchain to implement services in the city, and you're looking at bringing blockchain talent to the city to work in the city. Let's talk about the first one first. Using blockchain and technology to make the city a better place. What are you guys doing?
Well, what we're doing is we're becoming more tech-oriented just generally as an organization. We're a billion-dollar company with 4,500 employees. We've done things like gunfire detection systems, to electronic plans, to resiliency initiatives. And all of that involves the ability to use the blockchain and get our data in a place that's transparent, that's decentralized, and that's accountable.
Let's talk about the gunfire detection system, because you mentioned it on the stage. How does it work?
So it's a sonic system. So what happens is when a gun is fired, it emits a sound wave. And so we have beacons strategically located in places where we normally have a high incidence of gun violence. And it will triangulate the sound and it will geolocate within 5 feet instantly where the incident occurred. And so we know we have precision as to where it happened. We can get evidence, we can catch the bad guys, and we can also plan for the future.
And this is actually working. Is it yielding results?
It's yielding tremendous results, actually. Our homicide rate has plummeted from a high of about 85 when we started it. Now we're down to under 50 on average this year.
Now, Mayor, moving to decentralization and full transparency, that makes some governments or some organizations quite uncomfortable. How do you feel about it?
Well, it can't make us uncomfortable because everything that we do is public. And so we have to embrace transparency, we have to embrace accountability, and we have to understand that the world that we live in today promotes those principles. And with artificial intelligence coming online, we know that our ability to plan, to make good decisions, and to forecast is going to be based on data crunching and understanding how those numbers work.
Now, Mayor, bringing the blockchain community to Miami, you've got an amazing place here. And as we mentioned, I had plans to move to New York, and I'm thinking very seriously about coming to Miami. What are you doing to bring the blockchain community specifically to Miami?
Well, listen, first of all, I'm sure you'll be here soon. I have no doubt about it. But what we're doing is we're maintaining a low-tax environment. And we're just trying to continue to be business friendly.
What brings Anthony Scaramucci to a crypto conference in Miami?
The world's changing, and so we have to get ahead of where the changes are. And so right now, Skybridge, our firm running $11 billion, is behind the changes. And so we've had a revelation over the last 3 or 4 months, and it's time for us to get up to speed and eventually be in a position where we can launch products into the space.
So what were the catalysts? Were there any specific catalysts?
Yeah, it was Jamie Dimon's interview. He made a statement several months ago saying that the whole thing was a farce and he wasn't a believer in digital currency. And then his staff went to him and said, whoa, 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 we're working on it. We've got several hundred people inside JP Morgan that are working on it. And so then he came out and issued a retraction of that statement. I said, okay, this is one of the smartest people I know in financial services. He is behind the curve too. we're generationally missing it.
Where are you in the life cycle of moving into crypto? Are you at the education phase? Have you actually started investing?
Yeah, I would say that we're beyond the education phase and we're into what I would call the product formulation phase, where by early spring, Skybridge will have products related to crypto. And so what's happening in the digital space is that you're going to create a fully secure, anonymous transfer of value that's frictionless. That is a eureka moment in world history. That's an epochal event, and I want to be a part of the early stages. I still think we're in the Wild West of it, frankly. You said it started in 2008. It's 2018. I still think we're on the frontier.
Yeah, we still are definitely on the frontier, and definitely a eureka moment. Here in the USA, the regulation is really in the way. I mean, there is no regulation, and that's stopping many other funds from having the courage to get into the space. Where are we on regulation?
So I think we're behind the curve on regulation, but also the government wants it behind the curve. The government wants to slow it down because, as you know, one of the things that governments have used for 5,500 years is their ability to manipulate the currency, their ability to manipulate interest rates, and frankly, when you're in a debt-laden society, what do governments do? They monetize debt. And so let me just give you a specific example. We take the United States off the gold standard in 1971. 1 ounce of gold is worth 35 US dollars. Today, 1 ounce of gold is worth roughly $1,200. So when people say, well, we haven't monetized something, look at that. And so this is scaring the living daylights out of governmental people and policymakers, because what if you can't do that? What if you can't do that to a Bitcoin or an Ethereum or whatever the next ICO or construct is out there?
So how do governments respond? And I think
So what will happen is they'll lag behind, they'll complain about it, and then some policy wonks and some government officials will recognize that they actually have to be a part of it, and the smartest governments will probably issue their own coins. Smartest governments probably do that.
Now, you guys are a big fund, and this is a big step when a big fund or a fund the size of yours decides that it's moving into the space.
It's an $11 billion fund, one of the largest fund of funds in the world. Strategically, we have to be in the space. And I also think because we're relatively good communicators, although I stunk as a communications director for the White House.
Well, you only did last a couple of days, right?
11. 11. Don't say a couple, okay? Because that like implies 2 days, okay?
So that's the government and regulation angle here from Blockchain Shift. As you see here in the US, still up in the air. And as we keep hearing, possibly driving away America's entrepreneurs and driving them to start their ventures overseas. Now let's get back to the good stuff, trading. We have an all-star lineup of traders here at Blockchain Shift, starting with my CNBC colleague, John Nigerian, 2 crypto fund managers, and a whole panel of Twitter and YouTube's top Florida-based traders.
John, I always thought you were a traditional guy. I didn't realize that you were spending so much of your time.
You thought I was a traditional guy? You look at this and this, and you think that's a traditional guy.
So great, let's talk from the eyes of a trader.
Okay.
There's been so much good news coming into the crypto market. You've got Bakkt coming online. You've got Gemini with insurances. You've got Yale coming in. But the price stays stable.
Yeah.
What is it? Why is nothing managing to move this market?
Yeah, I wish I knew exactly what the real answer is. I think there have been a lot of people running head fakes, Ran. By that I mean, I'm getting a lot of whales coming to me saying, I want to buy 50,000, I want to buy 100,000 coins. I run them through AML, KYC, I make them do proof of funds, and then the seller disappears. So I've never seen a market where you've got 10-to-1 buyers to sellers and it doesn't go up. So I don't know if people are running a head fake, like a shell game almost, in the short term, trying to support it at 6,000 US dollar rather than letting it break to 4,800, which is kind of what my charts say that it should break to. But if we don't break and 6 holds, I think we've got 9, 10, 11 in the cards for early 2019.
Let's talk about what worries you.
Okay.
There must be stuff that worries you. I mean, I heard Muriel
Market manipulation. You mentioned it at the top. That worries me, Ran, because I know that the industry is rife with it, especially on the crap coins and altcoins. But to a lesser extent, if I can't get a real picture of what an asset is doing, I can't really depend on technicals or anything else.
So market manipulation, big one. What else worries you?
things like what happened with Tether and Binance, and will exchanges that are worried about regulators stop trading, for instance, in U.S. dollars? That cuts off a significant funding source for the exchanges and so forth.
Last thing that excites you before I let you go, that doesn't excite you before I let you go.
Well, volumes are down so much, so that's the negative. The positive of that is people like yourself and others are still keeping the hope alive, but people are talking about it and they're figuring out ways and when to get in. And I think that's ultimately going to be a bullish thing.
It's because of people like me that keep the dream alive.
The dream.
John, welcome to a real crypto show.
Okay, it's great to be here, Ran.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
From a couple of traders keeping the dream alive, let's talk to some of the OG fund guys in early on crypto.
Who are you guys?
Sure. I came to blockchain from an academic point of view, then started a fund that went full time at the end of 2016, early 2017, and I've been here since.
Yes, my name is Jake Brookman. I'm the founder and managing director at CoinFund.
Okay, now on the stage today, you broke up the discussion into two parts. You spoke about cryptocurrencies, and then you spoke about the computing networks, which are the other type of coins. What excites you more?
Definitely the currencies. I would say one, it's been around for longer, and so it's not as big of an experiment. They're still both experiments.
Jake, you're a computer guy. I mean, you're a distributed computing guy. What excites you more? I mean, I know they're both very exciting, but...
So unquestionably, I'm much more excited by the prospect of decentralized networks and crypto economic systems than currencies. Currencies are great. They're the first demonstration of blockchain technology, but at this point, they're the least interesting one. We now see smart contract platforms. We see resource networks where people can get computational resources and storage and video transcoding. We see decentralized social networks that offer alternatives to things like Facebook and preserve consumer privacy. And we're going to see a world in which these networks proliferate, and they're going to be across, I think, tens or hundreds of different domains.
Centralized or decentralized exchanges, who wins the race?
I would say on the order book decentralization, I don't think that will ever work because miners have just too much power. On the custody decentralization, I think we are getting there, and I'd say eventually people would prefer that over centralized exchanges.
Jake, what do you think?
So I'm actually really excited, in contrast, right, about decentralized exchanges. You lower counterparty risk. At scale, these things move very fast. There's currently legislation going through Congress to create safe harbors for non-custodial crypto products. And that's very exciting if it goes through, because it means bringing up a decentralized exchange would be much cheaper than doing anything else. And about miners, there's only some networks that have miners. Other, proof of stake networks have other mechanisms for reaching consensus.
Okay, now you both run funds, and at the end of the day, as much as we love investing, running a fund is all about returns and bull runs. What do you think is the next catalyst the catalyst for the next bull run?
I mean, ultimately, I think we're still very much in the speculative phase, so your guess is as good as mine. But I'm pretty confident there will be another bull run. I just don't know exactly what it will be.
Right round the corner from our interview dome, we head to the Crypto Cafe to talk to some of Florida's finest traders.
Blockchain Shift here in Miami, and I've managed to round up some of Miami's biggest traders to tell us what they think is going to go up and what they think is going to go down. On my right, I've got Jake and Jake. On my left, I've got Nick and I've got Crypto Hedge. Guys, let's start off and ask you guys, what is going to go up in the next week? Jake, I'm looking at you.
I like Go very much. I think Go is one of the top cryptocurrencies that's undervalued in the market, and I'm looking at GoChain to make some moves in the upcoming week.
What is it about GoChain that you like? Is it a technical analysis thing, or are you actually looking at fundamentals?
Both. I like the technical analysis as far as it's priced exceptionally low compared to other Ethereum-like cryptocurrencies, and its market cap is under 20 million.
I've been talking GoChain for a long time. Jake, I'm looking at you. What's up?
I believe Aeon and Raven Coin Aeon is a completely suppressed coin with amazing fundamentals. It's run by Matt Spoke. Raven Coin just got listed on Binance. To me, it's one of the most beautiful ideological coins out there. To me, it's the next Bitcoin-like coin, just because no ICO, no pre-mine, and it's built to transfer asset value, whereas Bitcoin is a cash-to-cash transfer protocol.
Over to you, Nick. What's going up?
You said in the next 2 weeks or overall? In the next 2 weeks, nothing. I think we're just going to get a lot of chop action. It's not going to be very exciting other than Doge. Yeah, chop action on everything.
Crypto Hedge, I see you smiling. What's going up?
I think that, I mean, a lot of people think Bitcoin hasn't bottomed out yet, and a lot of people think Bitcoin has bottomed out yet.
What do you think?
I think Bitcoin could have possibly bottomed out already. I think this is an accelerated bear market compared to the 2013-2014 correction. So I think that we could be in an accelerated bear market right now, and we could be entering into a bull market faster than we think.
When you say faster than we think, how much time?
I think 2019 will be a good play.
I think the bottom's forming, but honestly, I think we can range in between 7,000, 5,800, somewhere in there for a couple months. It's entirely possible. Right now, there's nothing showing a confirmation of the bull market has started. Nothing has confirmed as the bottom is in. We're still forming it.
I agree with you that from a technical point of view and from a pricing point of view, we are still very much in a bear market and nothing can move this market. My question is, why can nothing move this market?
This market's very reminiscent of the silver market though. When JP Morgan came in with HSBC and basically suppressed the price so low. So when you talk about all these institutions coming in, like BACS, like New York Stock Exchange, why not suppress the price so low that it shakes out all retail traders? The same thing happened in 94, 95 when every single major FANG stock got smashed in price. Same thing happened in 2000. I mean, you talk about altcoins, they're down 98%. Same thing happened to Amazon, $5. Same thing happened to Microsoft. Same thing happened to Google. All those big major stocks.
Are we there? Are we
in the altcoin market? Yeah. I would say we're pretty damn close because, I mean, right now the altcoin capital market is forming a massive bearish wedge, and also we have an inverse head and shoulders forming on the altcoin market cap. And Q4 is typically an explosive quarter for the altcoin market. And we're already seeing Cork Chain up 200%, INS up 200%. We're already seeing coins that are going 200, 300%. Those are massive moves in any market you look at.
Jake, I'm looking at you. You've got something to say.
INS was one of my calls from a few weeks ago. I really like that moving into the bull market. But as far as whether or not Bitcoin has formed a bottom, I think we've seen Bitcoin hit 5,800, between 5,800 and 6,200 during multiple of its retractions in the last few months. And I think that is the bottom.
So it looks like I got the bulls over here and the bears over here.
I'm both. I'm a bull.
I'm more reasonable. Even if we get
a reasonable bull.
Yeah.
Altcoin run before the end of the year, yes or no?
Not before the end of the year, not as a whole. Like I said, maybe January at the earliest, as a whole.
Derek, for our viewers who are watching us and don't know what TokenPay is, what is TokenPay?
So TokenPay is a privacy-based coin that's building an ecosystem that makes it really easy for people to spend crypto, use crypto in everyday life. So we're building a merchant services platform. We built a stake in a bank. We have a stake in a brokerage firm, pseudo brokerage firm in Switzerland. We're building a whole ecosystem because one of the biggest adoption problems that we have today is there's not enough stuff out there. So we feel like that's the best way to kind of push the adoption story.
Okay, so adoption is definitely the new narrative. Let's talk a little bit about what the rationale was for buying a stake in a German bank.
Sure. So what we see is more of this connecting of the old world to the new world. So we felt that once you have this bank in the ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem, it makes it very easy for people to transition from the old world to the new world. So buying that bank allows us to kind of speed up that adoption. And then what we did after that was we partnered with the Litecoin Foundation, so they now have a stake in the bank. They're going to be able to help us out on the technological advancements and a lot of other things that we're going to announce soon.
Now you said earlier today that there's some good news for people who want to get involved with you guys in the bank, and that's really why you wanted to speak to me here today. So what is the good news?
Yeah, so what we decided to do is actually start potentially selling stakes in the bank to the actual people, the actual community. So with crypto, they'll be able to send crypto to us. We'll convert it into actually owning bank shares of the actual bank.
Equity?
Equity, actual real equity.
Equity or securities token equity?
No, it's for now it'll be just an equity share, so they actually have an actual share in the actual bank. And then eventually if we decide to securitize it and turn it into a security token, we can probably do that sometime maybe next year or the year after. It's kind of hard to really predict right now.
So you bought 100% of this bank?
No, actually TokenPay Swiss AG purchased 9.9% of that bank with an option to buy up to 90%. Of that 90%, we gave 9.9% to Litecoin Foundation, and then we have the rights to be able to sell all these other 9.9 stakes.
So you're not making a flip.
No.
The money's the sale of the 9.9% is actually being sold by the Litecoin Foundation to the community and to assist with the growing of the bank.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just putting in equity into the bank, that's number one. Number two, just the amount of research and development and actual technology that's puts in there is millions of dollars, right? So none of this is actually going to us personally. It's literally to start funding stuff for the actual bank.
And when does this all start? When can we start buying our shares in the German bank?
Yeah, we're looking at it in a month or two, actually. And we're going to start selling it within, hopefully by the end of this year.
So if you've wanted to own a share in a crypto bank, this may be an opportunity. Derek, if our viewers want more information, where can they go?
They can go to TokenPay.com.
So you can go to TokenPay.com if you want more information. So this is Wish, and we've heard a lot about Wish. Let's talk to the CTO. Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Jonathan Alava, CTO of Wish. This is Christian, our head of growth.
Nice to meet you. Jonathan, what's Wish?
Wish is a conversational commerce platform. We enable businesses to talk to customers and monetize those conversations.
How does that work exactly?
Well, we allow customers to, wherever they live, SMS, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, to connect with with the business, and the business will have one single channel where they can see all those conversations. They can track purchases, services, anything through there.
So how does that fit into a blockchain conference?
How does that fit into a blockchain? That's a great question. So we have a community aspect of it where a business can add third-party providers and they can provide services through that channel. And we get out of the way. We don't validate those services being fulfilled. We allow everything to be fulfilled through smart contracts.
So give me an example of how a company would use this and use the blockchain element of it.
The best example is a residential building. So buildings have amenities, but they also want to provide their residents with other services that they probably don't provide in-house. So if they were to bring in a dog walker, for example, that dog walker can be onboarded by the building. Smart contract can be created that will split the amounts paid, that will make sure services are fulfilled, and everything regarding that service in terms of quality, reputation is stored in the blockchain.
And obviously you can pay in crypto.
You could pay in crypto as well, yes.
Now, is Wish live today, or is it a proof of concept?
No, Wish is live today. We have customers in France and in the US. We haven't launched the crypto wallet yet, but it's coming soon.
You know, Wish is really going to revolutionize the way customers and businesses engage, and we're very excited to bring it to the masses.
So, are you guys raising money?
Yes, actually, we are launching a security token offering right now, so we're raising money for Wish.
And if our viewers want more information, where can they go?
Just go to wish.ai or contact at wish.ai, and we'll reach out.
Jonathan, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure having you.
Likewise.
Let's hear from our correspondent Adrian Bashuk about how Miami and Florida are fast becoming a blockchain base.
So talking Miami and blockchain, there's no better expert than to talk to Albert Santello from 8base. How is Miami and Florida being welcoming to the blockchain now?
Well, 8base is trying to put blockchain and regular technology into the hands of a lot more people.
And how are you partnering with any government?
We're going out to the schools, we're educating the students, we're going to be running hackathons and those things as well, sort of in this first or second inning that we're in of blockchain development.
First or second inning of blockchain development. So from 8base, we're going to check out one of BetaBlock's technology partners. This is Jeremy. Jeremy, how's it going? So you're building a health blockchain here in Florida. You've got an interesting story because you were actually in med school, you're going to be a doctor, and then the blockchain came along. How is Miami and Florida as a blockchain hub?
Miami in particular is a great place to build a startup. The tech community is growing. We're getting more engineers to coming out of the different universities in the ecosystem here.
That's Jeremy Fox from Ohm Health. And right here, talking more blockchain in Florida. Chris, you are on the legal side. You're working governmental affairs in Tallahassee for blockchain, yeah?
Florida being the third largest state in the union, I think the 15th largest economy in the world, our advocacy to the elected officials is, first and foremost, do no harm.
We've heard a light touch approach and we've heard do no harm, but again, shouldn't it be more progressive, getting out ahead of the curve and fostering development?
Well, absolutely. This is a state that can move quickly to actually using blockchain and cryptocurrencies to actually make some of their transactions and save a ton on the banking fees that they pay presently. $82 billion budget.
Got a huge state election coming up. We'll see come election day, yeah?
Absolutely.
I do think Miami could be the next blockchain hub. There's certainly a certain appeal to Florida with the favorable tax treatment.
So there's a lot of blockchain conferences all over the world and we celebrate that, but we think Miami should and can be at the forefront of the future of blockchain in the United States, and we're putting a big kind of flag in the ground today with the first inaugural Blockchain Shift, and there's plenty more to come.
But we hear a lot of hopium, so to speak, when you talk about, oh, can this place be a blockchain hub? And everyone says the same thing, yeah, we can be a blockchain hub. But can it really? We're talking about Florida.
Yeah, I don't think politics has anything to do with it, because I think Republicans want to see more jobs,
Democrats want to see more jobs. That's the number one thing politicians want. And they all say, jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, I think that with all the politicians who came here today and voiced their support for blockchain, you know, they're here, they're making commitment, and we're going to see them and hold them accountable.
One of the reasons Miami is attractive as a blockchain hub is its gateway to Latin America. And here we find a Caribbean exchange. Ladies, you're from Aura and you're launching an exchange in 3 weeks, yeah?
You know, we know what it is to not have access to basic banking services, not having access to loans. And if you get access, you pay like 12 to 90% rate. And we just want to give them the right platform that is, you know, secure and trustworthy.
What existing use cases do you have in the shipping industry?
At the moment, we have companies like Mitsubishi, Tata Group, already testing our product, trying to integrate this into their cargo flow. We have shipping companies on the other hand, BBC, Intermarine, Crickmers, globally using this software or this platform.
How's Miami and Florida as a blockchain hub?
For us, it turns out really great, actually. There's lots of talent coming down here now. And with the conference here, we hope that it's a start to something really big like Art Basel.
And I believe that Miami is really becoming, is going to be one of the biggest technology hubs. We don't, you know, this as an alternative to Silicon Valley.
I see Sean from TokenSoft. You guys are a big San Fran company. What are you doing in Miami?
You know, blockchain shift. The whole purpose of this conference is around kind of the shift in governance, and Miami is shaping up to be a major player in this space.
You see positive steps here?
I do. I see a lot of movement here, a lot of interest and a lot of money being put to work in making that happen.
Thanks, Adrian. Given we're in Wynwood, the arts district here in Miami, you'll see not just art everywhere inside the conference, but crypto art. And as we continue looking for blockchain use cases, they're right there, on the wall, with the artists and the galleries accepting crypto as payment. Adrian?
Hi, Taylor.
Hi, what's going on?
So how many artists are here at Blockchain Shift?
We have 15 artists here. Yeah.
And they're all getting paid in crypto?
Exactly, if they'd like to, yes.
So let's check out Abstract's work. You appreciate the blockchain because the current market, when you release a print out there, what happens?
You have to watch out because if you release too many prints and people start reselling them, it can devalue your art. So now we have a way of tracking it, which is really beautiful.
How far away do you think we are from that actually being implemented by gallerists and artists like yourself?
I think we're there. We're almost at the point where the individual artist can have the capability of adding the tokens to their pieces too.
I mean, you're at a crypto conference and you're painting.
Right, exactly. FemCoin is my version of cryptocurrency I created, and that in Fem we trust.
Not in Bitcoin we trust, but in Fem we trust.
But we trust in the Fem.
This is art happening at a crypto conference. So that's Fem Savant. We're going to go check out the Bitcoin gallery now. Let's take a look. David?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
You've got some Ethereum, you've got HODL, but a lot of Bitcoin. More Bitcoin than Ethereum.
Oh yeah, that B is everywhere.
Are you a Bitcoin maximalist, David?
You know, maybe.
You're not sure what I mean.
Not at all.
He's an artist. He does not know what a Bitcoin maximalist is or means.
I said, sure. It was a half answer.
That's okay, buddy. To wrap up, let's take a look at your mural.
Yeah, let's go. I'll show you where it is.
So you've got Litecoin painted into it, Ethereum painted into it, and Bitcoin. And Ripple.
And Ripple. Good eye.
So what do you think about getting paid in crypto?
I love the idea of it. I'm
Is the
educating
barrier to
myself.
entry too tough? You as a lay artist trying to accept crypto.
I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry.
Exactly. It's a lesson, and yes, artists are accepting crypto here at Blockchain Shift, but there's a huge barrier to entry. It's something that we've got to overcome if we want to achieve mass adoption anytime soon. David, thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
From art to music, we wrap up with the music video look at Night Shift, the all-night crypto party featuring headlining DJs and over 2,000 attendees.
That's all we have time for on this week's show. Next week, I'll be back in our studio in Johannesburg. Until then, I'll be on Twitter at CryptoManRun, and you should trade well, my friends.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.